Yo, what is up, guys? This is Troy D from the Troy D 24/7 Mall channel, your source for on point and no hype reviews. We are back again, everybody. We're back with another fragrance review right here, guys, on my final day off. Now, before I head back to work, guys, I'm going to talk about a fragrance that has been on my bucket list for a really long time. I'm a fan of the city that it's from. I'm a fan of the brand. So, you know, this last Tokyo trip, Japan trip, really helped make it happen that I was able to procure this fragrance. So I got it for y'all. Now, also, this fragrance review is not just a review, but I'll also talk about certain tips for you guys if you are planning to purchase this fragrance, because it took me more than a smile to get it. Let's go. Now, before I continue, please do not forget to like and subscribe, guys, okay? Liking, subscribing, and watching the ads is a great big deal to this channel as we head towards 26,000 subscribers. So please continue all your support, guys. Deep dive into my over 800 no hype videos. Shop on our affiliate program and with our friends of the channel. It does help us greatly. Helps fund a lot of this sample buying and, you know, perfume buying whenever I'm overseas as well. So please continue all your support. Thank you very much. And the fragrance that we'll be talking about today is none other than the Labo City Exclusive. Really exclusive, only sold in Kyoto, Japan. This is none other than Osmanthus 19. Yes, Labo Kyoto, Japan City Exclusive Osmanthus 19. Had to get a bottle, guys, okay? Now, this fragrance, like I said, has been on my bucket list. I'm a big fan of Labo. They make really subtle scents that are pretty unique and are very liked really across the board, especially if you wear this for social reasons. They're very upscale, they're very mild, and, you know, that's perfect for a lot of social interactions, right? So this one right here, though, is the City Exclusive from Kyoto, Japan. And, you know, like I said, it took more than a smile to get it, because first off, you got to be there. You got to plan your Japan trip. And then, of course, Kyoto is not near Tokyo. You still need to take a bullet train to get all the way there. And then from there, you still got to plan your plan to get this thing right here, because like I said, it was not easy. So before I get into the scent itself, I'll give you some tips to get it. Now, over in Kyoto, the spot that is most well known to get it is at the Labo Kyoto Machiya, all right? And this location is actually near where most of the shopping takes place in Kyoto. If you like shopping, there's a whole shopping district there. And really near that shopping district is the Labo Kyoto Machiya. Now, this spot is well known, first off, for its aesthetics. It is beautiful, looks like a straight up Kyoto, like old house with the nice white drapings, you know, saying Labo Perfumery. But inside this place, if you've seen the TikToks as well as the Instagram reels, this is also a matcha cafe. All right, so on top of it being a Labo, store, it's also a Labo matcha cafe. Okay, so a lot of people head out there for the full experience. I mean, inside it's so beautiful. You get your Labo matcha, and then you can order Osmanthus 19 amongst, you know, other Labo perfumes bottled over there. Now, the thing I'm going to say here is that unless you really put a certain amount of time to go to this place, or if you really plan to show up and line up before it opens, I think at 10 or 11 a.m., it will be very difficult to grab your Osmanthus 19 from this place, okay, because of the demand and the people that are going. When I tried it myself, the line was 1 hour to 1 hour 30, and it was quite a short line, which says to me that, you know, the space inside wasn't really that much. Okay, so it was 1 hour to 1 hour 30, and so I told myself, like, okay, I've got 100 other agendas, you know, for our Kyoto trip. This is going to take an hour. But it turns out that once you go in and once you get your coffee, or your matcha rather, guys, the preparation for bottling and creating your own bottle over there was 2 hours. 2 hours, guys. All right, so after lining up an hour, doing the cafe, ordering, you got to come back after 2 hours to get your Labo Osmanthus 19. So that was kind of like a deal breaker to me, because I had 100 other things that we were, you know, planned to do in Kyoto. I mean, as you know, Kyoto is a beautiful place with a lot of temples and shrines, and, you know, these places are not near that city center. It's not near the shopping center. So I kind of abandoned that. I was like, I don't think that's gonna happen. But luckily, guys, I read this Reddit post online which told me about a second location in Kyoto, and that's the Labo in Kyoto Shinfukan. And Shinfukan is actually a luxury mall also within that same shopping district. So I kind of set my time. I said, okay, maybe 2 to 3 hours max to go there. And that is where I got this bottle right here. Why? Because the line was pretty non-existent, and this was already in the middle of the day. I mean, maybe I waited 2 minutes max, and I was able to order my Osmanthus 19. Now, on top of the line not being there, also the bottling and creating of this product right here only took 15 minutes. And because the Shinfukan is actually a luxury hotel, I got to go around. I got to enjoy some a nice cafe Kitsune, some nice ice cream, and then look around some shops and come back in 15 minutes. Easy, no problem. I was able to get my bottle right here. Now, pricing wise, let me say this, that this bottle right here costs $150, which is kind of expensive, kind of steep for a 15 ml. 300 was the 50 ml, and I think 400 to 500 was like the 100 ml, totally out of my budget. So I just got this 150 ml right here. It's got the Kyoto stamp right there, and of course you get to put the name, your name right here. It's bottled for you, obviously, in Kyoto. So all in all, that was a really interesting experience. So like I said, if you do plan to get this, take those factors in mind, the time factor, and see if you could mix that with your itinerary. But let me tell you guys, for me, I'm glad that there is like a plan B to all of this, because I quite like this fragrance. What is this about though? Is this worth, or was this worth all the trouble? Let's find out right now. Let's go spray this thing right now. Okay guys, now let's talk about this fragrance right here, the Labo Kyoto City exclusive Osmanthus 19. For those that are planning to go there and possibly grabbing this fragrance, here it is right here. Now, let me tell y'all that for me, first impression matters in a fragrance, all right? And even down to the last minute, I wasn't really 100% about it. I mean, the whole line thing and, the hours of waiting at the Machiya location kind of turned me off. And even at that point, I wasn't able to smell this thing, all right? But if you go to the Shinfukan location, which is a standard boutique, the moment you walk in, I mean, this is the smell that dominates the airspace as everybody's trying to get it, right? So for me, once I walked into the Shinfukan location, I was like, whoa, this is damn nice. I liked the first impression. So buying it, suddenly became a non-issue. All right. And this first impression is really nice. Let's talk about the opening right here. The opening has Japanese incense. It has osmanthus and lavender. All right, it's a beautiful, unique combination. And to me, it started off with Japanese incense. All right, so Japanese incense is quite different from, you could say, like the Middle Eastern type incense, because it is subtle. It actually blends with the environment, and it's not a disruptor. It's more of like a harmonious, incensey smell that's actually made up of really nice dry woods as well as spices and florals. So this thing right here has like a subtle spiciness, a subtle woodsiness, and of course some floral smells right here that of course blends in nicely with the lavender and the osmanthus. And the lavender right here does what it does. It provides an uplifting, relaxing, almost like cloud-like smell mixed in with that woodsy Japanese incense. And the lavender also provides some subtle spiciness that goes with the Japanese incense as well. The lavender isn't really a part though, in that it's more of like a supporting cast member in that uplifting, calming feel. And then of course you have, the star of the show, which is the Osmanthus Flower. Now Osmanthus right here is sort of like a fruity floral note that has honeyed facets. It's again subtle. It's not a disruptor. It's a calming floral, fruity floral smell. Kind of resembles apricots and peaches with florals and honey. And this part right here mixed, like I said, with what lavender does, which is like kind of uplifting, calming, and spicy, and then the woody incense makes for a truly amazing opening. At least for me, you know, I'd never smelled this combination before. So like I said, I smelled it when I walked in the boutique and I said, I'm buying it, right? I don't care. I mean, I'm not going to go back to Kyoto again for quite a while. So that really kind of created that sense of urgency for me to buy it. This opening, definitely calming. You know, it's got the Kyoto in it. And Kyoto is not really, although it is a city, it's not the hustle and bustle type of city like, you know, Tokyo and Osaka. You know, Kyoto is filled with nature. It's filled with, you know, all the temples. And so it was really appropriate to have Japanese incense as part of this whole thing, you know, and it's not, like I said, like the average incense you smell in other fragrances, Middle Eastern fragrances, right? So the subtlety of that Japanese incense, the calming nature of the lavender and the Osmanthus flower was really quite nice. And like I said, I mean, that was an easy no-brainer once I smelled the uniqueness of this intro. And with that being said, let's talk about initial sillage and projection of this fragrance. So the thing about this fragrance is that you gotta do at least 6 sprays each time you wear it, okay, for optimal like sillage and projection. And I'm saying this because, of course, I only have a 15 ml, and so I'm kind of saving it for certain occasions, guys. But actually, there was a time where I found myself wearing this like almost every day. And so because I was wearing it every day for this review, I tried like different amounts of sprays. When I tried 6 to 7, I had really optimal performance, really good sillage where people could still smell it around me. And again, it's really for the wearer as well because, you know, it brought back, you know, memories of Kyoto and how Kyoto was so calming and relaxing. But of course, when I tried like 3 sprays, like just to do it, I saw a big drop in performance, okay, in terms of the sillage, projection, longevity. So this thing right here, I gotta say 6 to 7 sprays to create a nice, lingering, draw-in, personal type of scent that, you know, I would say is optimal. Okay, so now let's talk about the mid right here of the Labo Kyoto City Exclusive Osmanthus 19. Now, on the mid, on paper, it says that the mid is just simply Osmanthus. But in my opinion, the mid is actually a bridge between the first part of the fragrance where all of the notes are really on, as well as the resinous dry down of this fragrance right here. It's kind of like a blend, a mid part of the blend of the beginning and the end part of this fragrance. So at no point really here will you get Osmanthus, in my opinion, really on its own. Although the Osmanthus floral will be there from almost start to finish. You will really get to smell, like I said, that fruity, floral, honeyed, calming Osmanthus flower. But it's never really on its own because this part here with the incense and the lavender with both woods and spices really do continue all the way past, you know, the 1 to 1.5 hour mark, which is usually how long, you know, openings go in the fragrance. So because I like the first part of this fragrance, I quite enjoyed the fact that, you know, this one continued all the way into the mid. I got more of the same, which is what I wanted. Now, in the latter part of the mid, I would say 4 to 5 hours in, you get the dry down notes blend in really nicely and subtly with that mid because the Osmanthus floral also has honeyed qualities. So it was easy for that amber resin to come in 4 to 5 hours into the mid, which is also a dry down note, all right, which is also the dry down. And let me say this right here, that the amber here is actually quite mild and well blended. Usually when we talk about amber, of course, the honeyed amber is so prominent, it's such a disruptor, you know, and it comes in hard and heavy, kind of like a cozy fall winter style amber. But here in Osmanthus 19, it's more of a well blended in sweet resinous amber. It's almost candied actually, the way that it blends in with the Osmanthus at the latter part of this fragrance. This is not going to be a heavy amber, but a well blended in heavy amber. And you will get a blend of Osmanthus and amber all the way up to like maybe like the 7th hour mark. So like I said, this one right here is not one of those where like you have clear-cut stages, because the amber blends in late into the mid, and you have that nice sweet honeyed smell, but with resinous aspects as well. Okay, so now let's talk about the dry down right here of Labo Osmanthus 19. Now, like I said, the dry down actually starts early in that the honeyed, almost candied, light and subtle amber actually mixes in. The resinous nature of that mixes in with the honeyed and nice fruity floral of Osmanthus. So this happens early, guys. And then it's paired with sandalwood. All right, sandalwood is classic Le Labo. They did an ode to the Le Labo fans in the ending of this fragrance. Not only do you get a subtle and sweet combination of the Osmanthus and the subtle amber, the resins, but you're also gonna get sandalwood right here. And sandalwood is a nice creamy sandalwood, calming, relaxing sandalwood in the ending of this fragrance. So again, to me, this was kind of like an ode to the Le Labo fans. Really likable, like I said, starts early and then goes until the 12th hour or 13th hour, depending on how much you spray. I like this dry down right here because it was quite a circle. It started with woods, and in the end, you still have the backbone of sandalwood woods here at the ending of this fragrance right here. So with that being said, of course, I like this right here. I mean, easy decision for me. I got to smell it, first impression, walking into the store, and it was like, bam. And of course, you know, not gonna lie, the exclusivity plays a big part in buying this fragrance, right? I mean, of course, if you are not gonna be back in Kyoto for a long time, this of course is a nice souvenir, a good gift, a good scent to have. But for me, it was the uniqueness, all right? The fact that this could be a signature scent that nobody has. And of course, some people, you know, judge that and they talk about it like it's silly, but you know, that's just part of the thing. I mean, people like exclusivity. People like blends that don't smell like anything else. And for me, that's prominent because I've complimented others that brought perfumes that did not smell like anything else and actually smelled good. Didn't ask what it was, I was kind of shy. But actually, I like that. I like that people bring in scents that are just not your common types of combinations that, you know, are in a lot of designers, for example, right? So this one right here, I would say not only buy it because of the exclusivity and of course, you know, the effort that it takes to get this, but also because it's a unique blend that will truly remind you of Kyoto, the beautiful city of Kyoto, on your last trip to Japan, which is what happened to me. I like the calming nature, and I like definitely that kind of like that sweet honeyed nature mixed with Japanese incense. I mean, this is definitely for the Japan lover, period. And usage wise, guys, there's something quite upscale about this that Le Labo really does. I mean, Osmanthus is used in a lot of fragrances that are more opulent, and so the inclusion of Osmanthus here definitely does that with the subtlety of the Japanese incense. And you know, this is perfect for those that like upscale grabbers as well, because when we talk about upscale grabbers, a lot of them are prominently strong, but they're not really huge disruptors in the airspace. They don't disrupt, you know, the room or the corridor. They're very subtle in its, you know, in their approaches. That's what upscale grabbers do. So there is, of course, on top of this being a nice mood, you know, grabber, this is also an upscale grabber. It's got that Le Labo upscale quality that's done by the Osmanthus and the amber. I mean, definitely this is really nice for those that like upscale fragrances. Of course, Le Labo people that love, you know, the calming nature of Le Labo scents, the subtleties. I mean, this falls right into that box as well. So again, really nice on the usage. Okay, so now let's talk about total performance of this one. I warned you guys that it's got to be 6 to 7 sprays for optimal performance on this. Now 6 to 7 sprays got me 12 hours performance. All right, I mean, maybe you got weak at 11, but still very consistent for 12 hours. Of course, those 6 sprays spread around right here. It wasn't an issue. Again, if you try to, you know, get conservative with your sprays, you might not get optimal performance out of this. 3 sprays, no way. 4 sprays, no way. It really has to be like 6 to 7 sprays to get optimal performance. 12 hours performance, consistent smell, nice sillage right there, all those subtle. I liked it right here with 6 to 7 sprays. And for some of y'all curious about this fragrance, I'm pretty sure one of your questions would be, is this a unisex or femme-leaning scent? To me, this is a unisex scent, thanks to the Japanese incense in the beginning that is woodsy and spicy, and the lavender also provides some spiciness right there, and the ending has some resinous amber and sandalwood. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised if a lot more women liked this fragrance, but to me, this is incredibly unisex and is more of like a signature scent style that would be unlike other, categorized scents out there. And finally, let's talk about the cost and the full bottle worthiness of this fragrance. Again, there's 3 different price ranges: $150 for the 15 ml, the small one right here, and then you have the 50 ml at $300, and I believe the 100 ml is like $450 or $500. Okay, again, for me, it was very hard to really make a major purchase like that because I was in Japan, and Japan, there's a lot of associated costs when you're going to Japan, and shopping, food, and going to different places, hotels, right? So the costing is not that easy for me to say, okay, fine, I'm gonna drop 500 on this one. Okay, but I wouldn't be surprised if people did, because the uniqueness of this and the grabber nature and upscale grabber nature of this fragrance, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, for me, if you ask me, if you gave me an extra amount of money, to me, I would buy it. Okay, I would buy a bigger bottle just because this fragrance is really that usable. And again, as a Japan fan, it brings back memories. Okay, so when you're there, if it's really hard for you to go back to Kyoto, Japan, it's kind of like a one and done, and you have the money, sure, get the bigger bottle, 50 to 100 ml. But if you're like me, 15 ml is quite enough right here. At least for me, I got the experience. I don't think this thing will go away pretty soon for me because I've got a ton of other perfumes to wear, guys, and test. But as a signature scent that nobody else has, nobody else will smell like you, with nice calming smells, as well as Japanese incense sticks. I mean, lavender. Definitely, I would say that this is full bottle worthy for any size if you get to go and grab it in Kyoto. And that is it. That is my no hype review on the Labo Kyoto City exclusive Osmanthus 19. Let me know in the comments below what y'all think of this fragrance. If you were lucky enough to have tried it or bought it, did it give you the same effect that it gave me? Okay, or do you miss Kyoto? What did you guys do in Kyoto? And if you want to see what I did in Kyoto, I got an Instagram if you guys want to follow me back and say hi. It's more of like a personal journey Instagram than a perfume centric Instagram, but please follow me, say hi like I said, and you can watch what happened in Kyoto. I've got photos, I got story highlights. It's all in there, guys. And again, thank you so much for watching. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Definitely Arabian Oud is next, and a host of other things. We're gonna go into the next phase of my reviewing here in May. So hopefully, guys, you have a great week ahead. I know it's Monday, it's gonna be really crazy, so hope you guys have a great week. God bless, take care, peace.